frame. Patch that up. Sanding down the whole frame after the... It's already been bead blasted, but now it's sanding it all down to 120. 120 grit makes it really smooth for painting. Just here with my buddy, he's working on a vehicle. I'm waiting Peter the painter. Get this done. Snow's back, and it's freaking cold out. Should have took advantage of that warm weather a little bit more. I just turned my furnace on, and it's 40 degrees in my shop, so it's going to take a while to warm up. I ordered these brass screws because I couldn't find any timing screws. You know, the right thread pitch and the right length. I gotta cut these ones down for my timing cover. I got a few brass accents on this bike. Like I say, with the brass washers up here, you know, the brass oil fitting down here, and might even use a few more brass washers on things just to kind of a little bit of contrast with all the chrome or the polished aluminum. I think that'll look pretty good. Well, it looks like I got to cut these down. I thought I had them the right size. That's my next project. I got to cut about 3/16 off this brass screw. So what I do is I always put the nut on first, cut it, and then I'll run it around my grinder here to smoothen it up. Then I could just unthread the nut, and that'll clean the threads up at the end. Level there. If I cut it clean, that nut should just come right off like butter. Should be no burrs. Gonna have to do for now. I got a couple extras for the taillight because I lost one of the taillight screws. It's the same thread as the taillight lens screw. Back on this front brake drum cover. I had it all buffed up nice and shiny the other day. I wasn't happy with it. There was a few small hairline deep scratches in it, so I started going over the whole thing again with 600 grit and just going over all those little, like if you look real close, I'll find a spot, but yeah, maybe right there. I'm going over it again, and I wasn't happy with this. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it right. Get that fixed up today too. I lost one of these screws, haven't found it yet, but meantime I put two of those brass ones in there. They're just the right size. I could even polish them up too. They'll come up like real shiny. 2 hours later, I think I've got 6 hours into this cover. Oh my god, I'm done. That's as much as I'm gonna do for now. But you can see in here, I got this cleaned out pretty good. That's hard work. My thumb and my forefinger there are raw. You know, getting in here with a piece of carbon fiber and like a credit card in the grooves there. But that's it. That's pretty damn good there. You can see my reflection in it. Time to put her together. Just going to paint the two screens and start assembling this. I think I got all the parts there. You can see the vent screens are pretty plugged and dirty. Get them all cleaned up. I don't think this belongs here. I'm not sure where that came from. And yeah, those two springs are good. I think it's the rear one I got new springs for. The guy in California sent me a brand new pair of springs because I let him know on eBay there that he was listing the wrong springs for the wrong brake drums, and he thanked me very much and sent me a free pair, so that was a good deal. Anyways, I got to clean this all up. First I'm going to wash them all off. Varsol, hot soap and water, sandblast some of these parts, and put a little paint on and get ready to put her back together. These screens, I thought that was just dirt in there that I could just clean out. No, somebody's painted this before, I believe, and so I have to poke every one of those holes out with my welding tip cleaner. So if you ever go to paint one of these things, you might want to tape off all that screen, because somebody's plugged this up. I'm just poking one at a time, and there's probably hundreds of holes. Are you looking for trouble? What kind of trouble can you get into? Go get your toy. Yeah. He just wants to play. I can't work. I had to really trick him to catch him to get him to come out to the garage. I can't even catch him anymore. Had to have Heather call him, distract him, and then I snuck up and grabbed him. Hey, I gotta get back to work. A few more to go on that one. Well, I got them all cleaned up. I give a little coat of paint on the outside. I have my boxes mixed up. This is the rear brake parts. This is the front brake parts. The front brake shoes are a little bit bigger. 70% of your braking is done with the front wheel. And there's the new springs the guy gave me. So I gotta sort these out and make sure I got them in the right drums. That's where I'm at. Just sandblasted up the shoes. Clean them up a little bit. This little metal plate there I'm going to epoxy on. And just giving a coat of paint to the screens there. Getting ready to put this together. I just, this isn't very good here with the light. There we go. Just cleaning up the front brake adjustment rod and levers here. And I'm going to use, I think Esso makes this. It's a silicone grease, so the heat won't affect it. And that's what I'm going to use on the what do you call those? Like a pinion there or whatever, I don't know. This is where the shoes ride on the shafts here, but I'm going to use a little bit of that red silicone grease on here as well too. And the heat from the brake shoes working, it won't melt the silicone grease like it will in oil-based grease. So always recommend silicone grease when you're working around brakes. Just going to put this back together. Okay, trying to figure out how this all goes back together. Looking at some of my old pictures. Looking at the manual, but the manual isn't too great. Can't really see the detail. And I'm always missing parts for sure. But it's supposed to be a washer on here. And I only had one. But there was one at the back wheel. I don't know if I need it there later, I don't know. But I put a little bit of silicone grease on everything. Down there. These shafts are, you can grease them. There's a grease fitting on the end of them. Wouldn't want to put too much grease in there. Have it flinging around on your shoes. Let me just do this all finger tight right now. This nut here for this shaft, I'm not sure if there's a washer or not. I had an extra one on the rear brake, so maybe this goes underneath there. I'm not sure. I'm gonna run downstairs and check before I put that together. Now it looks like the cable's supposed to go through here and hook into the end of the lever. And this doesn't line up right, it's pointing over this way, so I'm gonna put a pair of channel locks on there. See if I can move it. Maybe it sees, like maybe it's supposed to move, I don't know. Like it's riveted on there. Wouldn't be surprised if that's supposed to float. It does turn. Put a little WD-40 in there. It moves. I'm just not sure how much it's supposed to move, but I'm going to aim it for there. About there. Okay, I'm going to go down and double check and see if there's supposed to be a washer underneath this shaft here, the shoe shaft. Okay. In the parts book, it shows that there's no washer on this one here, on this shaft. So, I'm going to put a little dab of Loctite on there. Don't want any brake parts coming undone. Oh, that's a sealant. There it is. I guess that washer belongs with the rear brakes. Okay, I'm just going to tighten up these and put the shoes on. Finished. Finally. Lots of fucking around. Anyways, there's the vents. It's kind of a flat paint. A little bit of a flat black. And inside there as well too. It's all greased up, all ready to go. These shoe shafts are the cam on it. The big lobes point out. I had it pointing in. I had no spring tension. I didn't think there was room for it to fit out without it interfering with the hub. But that's why I put it in. But I had no spring tension, so I had to just undo the clevis on the outside here on both sides and put it back in. And now I got lots of spring tension on there. That part's done. Front wheel's done. I don't know if I told you in an earlier video, but I had to make a bushing for in here because the axle was so loose in it, the aluminum was worn right out. So here I've got a bushing machine to size. If it ever starts to get worn out again, you just press out the bushing, make a new bushing. That's how that looks. There's the new springs in there. The springs on the front shoes are a little bit longer than the springs on the back shoes because the back shoes is smaller. It's a smaller drum. Yeah, these are 8-inch, and I believe these are 7-inch on the back. Yeah. So there's a slight difference in springs when you're putting yours together. That's it. Oh, so finally something done. My frame is not going to get painted until probably late next week. My buddy's really busy right now, so I'm not going to get to that. Something else I was going to tell you. Oh yeah. I sprayed clear coat on these bottom nuts because I don't know if they probably can't get them in stainless, but these ones up here on the rocker shaft covers, you can see with all that condensation I had there on Saturday, I got a little bit of surface rust on this. For $9, I can order stainless steel, 8 of them with new copper washers. So I think I'm going that route. That's it for today. This is probably going to be a long video. Cheers.